If you're thinking about creating a living trust, you might have the question of, oh, if I'm married, should I have a joint trust for both myself and my spouse, or should we have separate trusts? So in this video, we're going to talk about that issue. Hi, my name is Edmund.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Cindy.
And we are the attorneys here at Amity Law Group. As a law firm, we're known for helping families protect their assets here in Los Angeles. And let's get into this video. This is a very commonly asked question for a lot of our clients, right?
Yeah, so we get this all the time. Clients come in, they're married, or maybe they're about to get married, and they're interested in a trust, and they don't know if they should do a joint trust or if they should do a separate trust.
Yeah, and a lot of times it really boils down to how these assets are owned. So we've had clients come in where maybe, it's a daughter and she comes in originally with her mother because, the mother fronted the money to have her buy this property. So the down payment is the mother's money, and then the mother put the property under this daughter's name, but the daughter's also married. And she also owns property with her spouse. And so they always ask, wait, in this situation, we still want to protect this asset, make sure that if anything happens to the assets that was given by the mom, that it goes to a certain beneficiary and maybe not necessarily the spouse. So in these situations, we find out a little bit more detail, but in a nutshell, a person can have multiple trusts. They can have an individual trust that funds assets that is owned by this one individual, and then a joint trust with the spouse where they fund assets that are community property or husband and wife type of properties.
And another scenario where you might want to think about whether or not you want to do a joint trust or a separate trust is whether or not you guys have different beneficiaries. So if you come in with your husband and you've discussed it and you've decided that you have different beneficiaries, possibly because maybe very similar to the last scenario where those beneficiaries were somehow involved in those assets that you have title to now. So you want to make sure that they are protected, their interests are protected. So naturally you're going to have different beneficiaries than your spouse. And that would be a scenario where a separate trust may be appropriate.
And another scenario where a separate trust is appropriate is if you want to keep that privacy. There's a line of privacy between you and your husband. Maybe you don't want to share who your beneficiaries are for your separate property. That's okay. It's your choice. It's your spouse's choice. We can help you maintain that privacy by creating separate trusts.
Yeah, and then along the lines of what Edmund was saying, we do have clients come in, maybe it's a second marriage, third marriage, they had children from the previous marriage. They want to make sure that they protect those children without kind of offending the current spouse. Then, we do have client attorney privilege, so we maintain the privacy of this individual, create his or her individual trust, make sure that his or her half or her separate property is given to the beneficiaries that they designate. And so it is something that we commonly come across, and it's very typical. And so that's always something that we can customize and advise and, make sure that that's make sure that it's properly done so that the client's wishes are met.
And you may start out with a separate trust, but it's a revocable trust and you can change it. So if your situation changes, you can then decide to do a joint trust later on.
And make sure you talk to an attorney before you enter into any separate or joint living trusts, because there are issues regarding community property versus separate property that you should be aware of. There's also tax issues. And so if you'd like, come in for a free consultation, and we would love to discuss those options with you. All right, I think that's it for this episode. If you have any questions, again, let us know, and we'll see you in the next video.